I have just a couple of slides, so it will just make it a little bit easier. Well, first of all, thanks so much. I'm delighted to be here with this distinguished panel. Eden, you may not know it, but actually I come from Glasgow, also by way of the West Indies, so I think I get more diversity points than you do today. My congratulations also to Omar and all of InnovatorsGate. This is a fantastic achievement, particularly bringing together this conference in such record time. Like Eden, I'm actually very excited to think of the connections that are going to be made today and the new ideas that are going to come on. And there's going to be a tremendous knock-on benefit for society in general. I have entitled my presentation or my remarks that it's not all about technology. Now that is maybe a bit strange, seeing as this is one of the first interventions on today, but it's precisely really what I want to highlight is that it's not all about tech. Tech, of course, is useful, but it's what it brings that is the most valuable thing. You've mentioned that I've had quite a long career now in the private sector, and so that's the perspective I've taken, very much about creating businesses, and I'm happy to dive deeper into what I've done on some other occasion, but I've only got a few minutes, so I'm going to have to stick to the script. But I would like to invite everyone to link up with me if you want. You can find more about my profile on LinkedIn. I've given you a little word cloud here. Just a couple of things. I'm passionate about creating exceptional companies. That's what I do. I've learned, I've studied it. I've had plenty of experience as CEO, as a founder, and now I advise lots of leaders around the world in how to do that. Now, for today, though, and I apologize, I have to go really quickly. I want to just tee up three questions to think about. One is something I come across all the time, and I call it the problem of too much tech. I'll explain that in a minute. The next one is the problem of not enough leadership. And the third one is much more positive, which is designing the organization. So let's start with too much tech. What do I actually mean by that? Well, very often I see founders and innovators who are just all about the tech. They love it, and that's fine. But they really don't pay quite enough attention to the business aspects. It's a shame because sometimes that deprives the world of great innovation and ideas. The simple antidote to this one is awareness, followed by complementary people who can take care of the business things while the tech people look after the tech stuff. So I'm doing this quite quickly. The second problem is not enough leadership. Now, I'm not going to spend much time on this because I think we've all been in a situation where we've been in companies which lack clarity of vision and they lack any form of meaning. Now, these are really these are a recipe for disengagement. And I've listed on this slide what I consider the top 3 symptoms of leadership failure. I really just want to point out the last one, no fun. If you're in a company that is no fun, apart from it being really tiring, it's not an academic problem because the workers, the people who work with you, decide how much effort to give you, and they will decide on how much they'll give you based on how connected they are with that company. Okay, so I want to just leave you with that thought for now. Now, very often that happens because of a lack of training, but it can also be a cultural thing, or sometimes, very sadly, that's the way the boss is, and there's unfortunately nothing you can really do about that. But the role of leader really is, the most important aspect is to define that vision, to inspire and define that vision. You must keep this in front of your people so that you can help them choose to do what it takes to make your venture successful. You don't need to do everything. You don't need to decide everything. Which brings me to designing the organization. This is the most fun part and the most positive. The best way I found to achieve excellence is a question of design. If you design your business for the future, formulate the business that you want to have, not necessarily the business that you have now, you are going to be a lot clearer, and you're not going to have some of the problems that I described earlier. These are the 5 steps, I'll go through them quickly, that I take people through. One is an envisioning the future exercise, and most of you in tech do that yourself, so I invite you to do that for the business. The next step is imagination. This is not used enough in most businesses. People stop after 1 or 2 ideas. You need to go into more depth. Once you've completed that, you actually need to take a pause. The brain has to digest it. and your subconscious can work, and then you can design the organization. And this is where the orchestration, Omar, I know you're a musician, comes in. This is where you fit in tech into your overall vision and organizational design. And the rest is kind of the boring bit, planning in detail how to get there and make it happen. Now, before I finish, I'm just wrapping up now. These are the advantages that you get by this method. You eliminate immediately anything that's not coherent with your vision. So all the chopping and changing that might have happened in the past just automatically disappears. As a leader, you're able to present a very, very consistent message all the time to everyone, and you can involve everybody. And that's very important. So let me just quickly sum up now. Tech is important, but it does need to be accompanied by this very clear business system. As a leader, I invite you to keep the organization's focus on the objectives involving everybody and all the talents. And finally, if you start from the expected future and come back to where we are today, life becomes an awful lot easier and clearer. So before I hand back the mic to I think my 5 minutes are now up, I just want to say again, I really hope this conference enables you to make these great connections and to spark these ideas that are going to make your businesses exceptional and leading in your sphere. So with that, I'll hand back to Omar, and thanks very much for your attention.